Hi, it's Tuesday, and it is a beautiful day here in Chicago, and I am loving springtime. It makes me so happy. This past weekend, I hosted a brunch for my friend Tim. It was his birthday, and I had a bunch of my friends over, and I made this delicious breakfast pie that was incredible. And we just hung out in the backyard, and it was just the best. And I love springtime because the thing about it is it's like after winter when we're all asleep and kind of huddled into ourselves, springtime shows up and everything starts to come alive. I have this super fantastic tree that's right outside my window, right here. I'd show it to you. But it's wonderful because when spring first starts to show up, there are all these little buds on the trees, and then it starts to bloom, and the trees and the leaves get bigger, and it's just so incredibly wonderful. But as I was talking and I was thinking about just some different ways of how we get in touch with our intuition, how we think about these different things, just like springtime, is this part of coming back alive, connecting to our spirit, connecting to who we are, and how it just makes our lives so much easier, so much more wonderful. When we were grounded in our spirit, we trust the world, we trust ourselves. I find that one of the biggest hallmarks of people who aren't connected to that grounded place, to their spirit, get so caught in their heads. They're constantly trying to figure things out. Maybe if they are making any sort of decision, they shop it around to every single one of their friends. What do you think? And it can just be bumper cars, because they might get their guidance. They might get clear on what it is that they want. They might have that other little thing, but then they just want to make sure that everyone else agrees with them. They want to have the permission to make the change, or they even overthink it. Even just this week, I was talking to one of my clients who was wanting to make some different changes, and it was so incredible how her mind came in and all the expectations of what that change would bring so boxed her in. It was what if this happens, and then what if this happens, and then what if this happens, and then I don't want to do this. And it's just our wonderful minds, that our little egos get in the way, and our ego isn't a bad thing. It's really a way to protect ourselves. It's formed as a way to protect ourselves against the world. It's a buffer but if we get so caught up in that place and in the intellect, what happens is that we just freeze. And we don't make any decisions at all, and then we're in this place of constantly trying to figure it out, and that's just the worst. It feels like, Sabrina will say it's like being on a rotisserie chicken spit, and I just love that image, because it is. It's just a little crispy chicken that's just rolling around, and it feels so no good. So first of all, the thing is to also, in just connecting to our intuition, connecting to our spirit, is to start to recognize that we aren't our egos. And that means that we're not where we're come from. We're not, these different parts of ourselves that we can so overly identify with. Even just me being for example, if I over-identify as this blonde lady from Chicago who loves books and all these different things, that isn't my spirit. When I connect to my spirit and start to recognize that eternal grounded place, everything starts to open up. And I find so often people are I don't know, what's my spirit? How do I connect to my spirit? What does that even mean? And we can even then start to overcomplicate it. And then it's well, then I need to sit and figure it out. How do I even start to connect there? But if you really want to start connecting your spirit, the first tool that I would say is a lot of times is to just get grounded. Just take a minute, just taking a few deep breaths. And even closing your eyes, putting your hands on your heart, and just taking a second to just drop in. And at first, and just giving yourself maybe 4 or 5 deep breaths. And at first, your mind might be ugh, oh, this doesn't feel comfortable, or what is going on? But eventually, you'll start to relax and start to feel more grounded in that. And really feel the shift. A lot of times when we're in our heads and in our intellect, the vibration, how it feels is you're being squeezed by an anaconda. It's But when we drop into that space, everything starts to expand. We get a little bit more room to breathe, a little bit more space. And from that, we can like work things out, find out, create the space for what is next, for what we want. So even there, just even taking a few minutes, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be big, but feel it and don't think about it. Feel the difference. And another really great way to, the thing about our spirit and that connection is it doesn't need a lot. You don't need to do an hour of meditation, and then like, an hour of prayer, and then, an hour of altering. A lot of times when we connect, we only need just like a little bit. It's like, we just need a little bit of water. We just need maybe a little 10-minute experience. We need anything just to feed that connection, and we'll see how much it really feeds and creates a shift and what it does for us. For example, when I'm hurried and I don't have my like 20-minute morning meditation, I can feel it throughout my day. Or another really great way that I'll use to just connect to my spirit in the morning, which my wonderful friend Catherine over at Big Bright Circle, who's also fantastic, does a lot of homeopathic remedies and medicines, but she taught me this great trip when I went to Knoxville, and this great tool that I just love, where she has a deck of tarot cards, and every morning she takes a second, writes in her journal how she feels, something that she's grateful for, and pulls a card. And I love that, and just has a message for the day. And it takes maybe 15 minutes, but even in that connection, even in that space, it starts to build a relationship, and it starts to tune you back into yourself. Just like with anything, just like any relationship, when we feed and water those experiences, what happens is everything blooms. A lot of times when it comes to feeding our spirit and different things, people have so neglected to water that plant that they're like, don't even know how to connect. So it's sort of like, but it's almost like reawakening, because our spirits live in our bodies, and that's the way that we're naturally designed to live. When we just give it a little bit, just a little chupa, a little extra something, you'll really start to feel the difference in your life. And that's the other big thing. When we're tuning in, when we're thinking about intuition, when we're feeling it, it's to feel the experience. One of the big questions that I ask my clients all the time is, how does that feel? Not what do you think about it, but how does it feel? And use that as a way to get back into our bodies and feel what the vibration feels like. It's sort of like, for whatever decision you're going to make. Am I going to take this new job? Am I going to move? Instead of coming at it from this place of like our intellect, when you say it out loud, when you talk about it, how does that resonate in your body? And then pay attention. And really, and like I said, feeding that connection, having that little bit goes such an incredibly long way. And I love the idea, and I love Kat's tool, because what it does is it gets you back in touch with like your feeling body, and practice of gratitude, which is one of my other favorite tools, of just like being so grateful for so many different things, because it helps to attune us to all the great things that are going on. Right now we live in really stressful times. There are so many really intense things that are going on politically and in the world abroad. And, the thing is even in being informed citizens and things, but we have to really work to keep our light up. We have to work to connect to that space. And by doing that, for me, it really comes from feeding my spirit first. And from coming from that place, then I can show up and help feed and support other people. Because otherwise, if I'm not feeling my well, if I'm not feeding that place, then I get cut off, and then I feel exhausted. And so, this is where I really would encourage you every morning, whatever that looks like, however that feels to you, it's a really no big deal. Hi guys, hi Vanessa. But, and really our spirit doesn't need much. It doesn't need a lot. So whether that's even maybe if it's just drinking your morning cup of coffee and really enjoying that and having that come from a space of giving yourself some space to connect, and even starting, one of the other things that I was talking about is expect your intuition to work. Expect to feel it. Gear your mind and body towards it, and you'll see all of the different shines that show up. And then don't shop it around to your brain. Just say good information. That feels good. So this is my quick little mindfulness tip of this week, is to really feed your spirit. And if you're stuck on like, what does that mean? How do I feed my spirit? What does my spirit even want? What does my spirit even need? I have no idea. Help me. Think about the things that really make you feel good in your body, that make you feel like you lose sense of time or place. And whether that's dancing or singing or cooking or going for a walk or petting your dog or, you know, doing morning stretches or going to the grocery store. I mean, sometimes going to the grocery store for me, like the farmer's market, when there's so many beautiful like food and plants, like that's something that will definitely feed my spirit. And again, you know, one of the biggest things is notice how it feels. Practice noticing how you feel before you feed your spirit and afterwards. You know, before in the morning, taking that moment to connect, and then afterwards of how that, giving yourself that space and permission to have that space and that connection, how that really feels. And also, Sabrina and I created this awesome ebook. If you head over to our site, we have a wonderful free ebook with all sorts of great quick tools and tips to get in tune. And also, Sabrina and I are coming up on like 1 month until our book, You Are Amazing, finally comes out. And I can't believe it. I am dying for my copy in the mail so that I can like actually have the physicality of the book, because I still don't feel like it's totally real. So order that over on Amazon. It's like only $10 right now, which is absolutely bananas. And I can't wait to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think about how it feels, how you feed your spirit. What are the ways that you feed your spirit? We love, love, love hearing from you. And I just hope that you guys have such a magical, wonderful day. And I just am sending you all my love and hugs and beautiful, gorgeous spring flowers. And I love this, Melinda. It's one of my favorite ways. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. All my love. Bye.